So what are you focusing on this week? And before you decide what you are focusing on for the week ahead, I want to talk a little bit about habits. And there's lots of talk, isn't there, about changing bad habits for good habits. But I want to encourage you to be vigilant, not only of the bad habits, but of the good habits. And I was thinking, how can I explain this? And I was thinking, so in my head this morning, the example I was thinking of is about, imagine that you could go to your favorite restaurant every day, every other day, every week. But imagine going to your favorite restaurant. After a while, your favorite restaurant wouldn't feel too good, would it? You'd start to notice perhaps some peeling paintwork. You might go on a day when the staff aren't at their very best. The meals would start to feel a little bit samey. And suddenly your favorite restaurant isn't your favorite restaurant anymore. And that's what's glorious about life, isn't it? We don't have to go to the same restaurant over and over again. We don't have to eat the same food. We don't have to wear the same top. Imagine wearing your favorite top day after day after day. After a while, it's going to look a little shabby. No one's going to notice it. It's the same with perfume. You have a favorite perfume and everyone comments and says how lovely you smell and you feel great in it. And then suddenly you don't notice it and nobody else notices. And this is the problem, I guess, with habits, is that we get into them. In fact, I just looked it up. 40 to 95% of human behavior is habit. So it's obvious, really, isn't it, that eventually the habits won't feel good, that the habits will not create the change, the shifts that you want in your business. Doing the same thing over and over again is not going to get the same results. In fact, doing the same things over and over and over again and hoping for a particular result is most likely not going to give you the outcome that you desire. And it's so interesting, that word habit. And it's so interesting that in my notes are habits, change bad for good. But actually a habit is something that's really hard to give up. So I'm not sure that changing a bad habit for a good habit is the right idea at all, because then it'll just become something that's really hard to give up again. So to have an awesome week, because that's what I want you to have the most amazing, awesome week or day, I want you to think consciously about what you are going to do, what you are going to give your time and attention to. I want you to consider what it is that you're going to give your time to in this week. Is it the same old? Is it what you always do? Is it time to change? And I don't want you to think about changing bad habits for good habits. I don't want you to consider what I'm putting in front of you as a way of going, okay, this is what I always do. Could I do something different? This is because otherwise you'll just start doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for a different result. And boom, suddenly we have a bad habit. So let's think about it in a different way. So let's change the word from habit to rituals, which is a word that Christina Bold uses. How do you start your day? What ritual do you have? And I love this because when I think of my morning ritual, which is meditation, which is journaling, which is planning my day ahead, when I think about it as a ritual, it doesn't become a habit that I have to do. It doesn't become something that I have to tick off the list. And I more easily can change the way I do it because it's no longer a habit. It's a ritual. It's something that sets me up for the day. It's something that sets me up for the week. So change the wording. Words are so clever, and our mind is so clever in the way that it absorbs the words that we use and how we think. So I want you to think about what you're going to do in this day, in this week. Just check in. What has become habit? What needs to change? And of course, I know that change is scary, but here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to be brave And I want you to look at what has become habit, what has become routine, what is no longer getting the results that you previously enjoyed, or what still is not getting you the outcome that you desire. What can you do differently? And I want you to think about it as a ritual, because for me, when it's a ritual, it feels like it's okay for me to change it because I'm still doing it, but I'm not doing it as a habit. It is a ritual. It's something that I enjoy doing. So what can you do differently? Be brave. Try something different. Do something differently. Because we have been given this awesome, awesome life in this wonderful world. And we do not want to be stuck in routine. We do not want to be stuck in the hamster wheel of busy doing the same thing over and over again. Boy, that sounds boring. So it is time to mix it up. It is time to have some fun. And you can do that. You can absolutely do that. And when we make that conscious decision to do things differently, what's happening is we are doing things in a way that we are truly aligned with and how we want to do them. It gives us the courage to do it not like everyone else is doing it. It gives us the courage not to do this, that, or the other because everyone else is doing that. It allows us the freedom and the space to say, okay, how can I have more fun with this? How can I do this in a way that feels really great to me? What can I do differently that makes me feel more powerful, more aligned, that makes me feel more connected to the actions that I am taking? So I'm encouraging you to think about the week ahead and be brave and ask yourself, what can I do differently? This is you stepping outside of your comfort zone. Because yeah, that's why habits are so hard to change, because it's really comfortable. It's that comfortable pair of slippers we wear, even though we know there is a hole in them and actually they're a little bit slippy on the bottom. We put them on because they're comfortable and they're what we know and we've had them a long time and there's a wonderful story attached to them. But that's like saying, well, I can't have a new pair of slippers, or a new pair of slippers won't be the same. But what if a new pair of slippers is so awesomely scrumptious and gives you a new lease of life, a new spring in your step? And don't ask me why I'm talking about slippers in summer. I don't know, but it's the thing that came to mind as I was talking. So I want you to step out of your comfort zone, and I want you to do that knowing that the magic is going to happen, the glorious things will happen, that you almost don't know what journey you're going to go on in these lovely new slippers. So be brave and try something different. Step out of your comfort zone, leave those comfy slippers that you've become so attached to behind, and try something glorious, try something new. Look at how I talk. When I look at the smile on my face, I just feel the excitement for you doing something different, for you stepping outside of your comfort zone, because I know that is absolutely when the magic is going to happen. I know that's when the doors open and stuff happens that you could never dream of, that you never thought was possible. And I want you to do this with a place of trusting yourself, trusting your decision making, trusting your actions. Because when we do that from a place of, do you know what? I'm just going to trust myself, give it a go, step into my new slippers, have more fun. It's that consciously making a decision that you are going to have more fun, that the doors are going to be open. It is trusting yourself. It is trusting the universe. It is trusting that there is magic when we are brave enough to take that step outside of our comfort zone, of doing the same thing, of wearing the same perfume, the same top, of going to the same restaurant. I gave you so many examples at the beginning where those things eventually don't feel good anymore. There is a high chance that you are doing things in your business that no longer feel good. There is a high chance that you are doing the same things over and over again, hoping perhaps for an outcome or a different outcome and not seeing it. And there is a high chance that's because you're disconnected, because you're doing the same things, because you're going through the motions, because you're not connected to it, because it's not in alignment, because you have changed, your business has changed, the environment has changed. So I want you to step out with sheer excitement and joy about the possibilities that would open for you by making that decision. So let's start looking at, and I'm saying us because, yep, I'm going to be doing this work this week as well. Just checking in with everything. Is this in alignment with me? Could I do this in a way that feels more fun? Is there an easier way to do this? How am I making this more difficult? I want to be curious. I talk about that a lot. Be curious for making it more fun, for having more enjoyment, for creating more success from doing it differently and being outside of your comfort zone. Hey, be curious about being outside of your comfort zone. What amazing awesomeness can happen when you step out. You only have to like just wiggle your toe out, because as you do that, you'll want to step more or further into that uncomfortable place. Because the other thing I want to remind you of is when we stay in the comfort zone, do you know what? It's pretty uncomfortable there. I always think of it being really quite spiky and it's not very nice. And, it's doing the same things, but actually it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable because you're not creating the results you want. It's not comfortable because you're not creating the income that you want. So it's time to step out and it's time to have the most fun ever. So what will you do differently today?